Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Santita Jackson Show here on AM 950 Radio, the voice of progressive Minnesota. It's a joy to be with you today. On X at Santita J, on the Santita Jackson and Friends page, on Facebook, and on the Santita Jackson Show YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe there and go to the Santita Jackson and Friends page on Facebook. That's the only place where I can accept friends. I do want you to be with me there while we are streaming. So, everybody, please, hey, Robert, shalom to you, my darling. And like and share. I know we're at these odd times, but I promise you, once the election season kind of calms down, when we hope that it will, I'll get back to my early mornings. But I'm having to record some other shows because I'm campaigning and I plan to get out of town so I can kind of see what's happening on the ground. And so but of course, I will be bringing you with me. So let's get right to it, everybody. We've got a lot of ground to cover today. The Electoral College, it's very, very uneven. Every state does not have a proportional representation. That is to say, some states are winner take all, some are proportional. How is that supposed to work? And most Americans now, according to the Pew Research poll, want to be rid of the Electoral College altogether. What say you? Then, of course, before that, we have got to, we've got to look at some of these big races that we're missing. When people are focused on Georgia, and of course that state is consequential, you've got some big races in Texas, in Nebraska. This is where, out in the hinterlands, if you want to figure out why some people win, some people lose, I'm going to tell you something. When you look at Donald Trump, for example, the so-called flyover states like Nebraska, he did not miss them in 2016. That was part of the reason Tio Hardiman and Gabe Drobny that he won. He went to the places that people flew over, You can't just fly to California. You got to go to Nebraska. You got to go to Oklahoma. You got to go to Montana. You got to go to the Dakotas. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go. So we're going to be talking about those races because they are consequential. And we're seeing more and more and more that every single vote counts. So that's in the next hour. But right now, it's about the resources. When we were on Keep Hope Alive with Reverend Jesse Jackson on Sunday, something kept percolating. The ground game. Some people were saying, look, you got to get more people out here, trusted, not just local officials, but people who work in the community, who are knocking on these doors and who can tell you, hey, they're the ones who take the temperature for a campaign. That is not something that you can fly over. That's not something you can just poll necessarily. Because for a lot of candidates, and I certainly saw this during my father's presidential campaigns, number one, the pollsters did not call his people, Gabe Drobny and Tio Hardiman. They didn't call our folks. And then they would frame when they would call my dormitory in college, they would frame the questions in a way that angered all the Howard students. So we would tell them, don't call us anymore. They said, well, if Jesse Jackson doesn't win, we were like, well, he might win. Well, no, he won't win. We're like, whoa, wait. So you have all of those responses. The polling is not as objective as one would like to think. So, but you really, really get a feel for people when you are out amongst the people. And Kamala Harris has raised $1 billion, $1 billion. But Derek Johnson of the NAACP said, wait a minute, you're not spending nearly what is needed with Black media, with Black street teams, with Black get out the vote efforts. So, and I don't think that's her fault. There's a lot of stuff. She's trying to give speeches and campaign every day, to be quite frank with you. So you have people who understand that, but she has a lot of people from the previous campaign. Remember, her campaign is what, 2.5, 3 months old? She talked about having to hit the ground running. She had to hit the ground and try and gather up the delegates and then figure out a campaign at the same time. It was unbelievable. And re-win people's trust. It's a lot. It's a lot. But here we are. She is in a dead heat with Donald Trump. So think about that, everybody. Think about it. So, Gabe, let me start with you because you indeed are you're one of our top young political operatives. We're so proud of the work that you do. And I know by June, when I first met you and you started appearing on the show, Tio Hardiman from Violence Interrupters, indeed on WVON every 6 a.m. every Sunday, one of the nation's top political organizers. Um, you had knocked on 30,000 doors, and given what you were seeing, it's like you foresaw the end of the Biden campaign. You said there is just no way that he's going to be able to win. It's just, there's no way. And I think somebody up there heard you because there was no way he was taken out. So talk to me. What are you hearing, seeing now? I mean, there are enough resources where of Dr. Gator Bradley, Dr. Wallace is with us. We are so excited to have him. Of course, indeed, he is one of our premier activists and organizers. We've been with him for decades. I'm not going to tell people how many decades, Gator, but that's all right. 50. We go back a long way. We go back a long way. But Gabe, what have you seen? I mean, you've heard Derek Johnson from the head of the NAACP say, "Look, we need more resources out here." You heard some callers on Reverend Jackson's nationally syndicated radio show all say, "We need some more resources out here. We need you to knock on some doors." That's not what's happening. Donald Trump is able to campaign with rallies, Gator Bradley,
Right. You know,
because he has that kind of charisma, that kind of rapport with his audience, and so his style lends itself to a rally. But Kamala Harris does much better, I think, one on one with people. Yes.
yeah. You speaking to me?
Well, I was speaking to Gator, but you know what? Jump on in,
You,
Dr. Wallace.
you
Gator.
know,
We all know him as Gator. We love it.
I want to say this. I just left Congressman Danny K. Davis, and his concern was pretty much what you're talking about.
Okay.
But one of the things that we came to agreement with from the call from the congressman was that this morning we got a call for 100 black men to show up, uh, 2,900 some West Madison, and they came from Danny Davis being the oldest to a young brother that was 20 years old. Okay, and one of the things that we all agreed to is that the vice president has the best ground game I've seen. Okay, across the country. You know, I've been going up and down 90 West and 90 East, be it from Michigan to Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And one of the things that's key, and I want your viewing audience or listening audience to understand that in our community, the name of the game is telephone, telegram, and telenegro. Okay, and to let them all know, regardless how Trump may shine, and he's just a liar, 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 pants on fire, and people will follow the lie. But the truth of the matter is this: we represent Project 2024 as opposed to Project 2025. Okay, this is bigger than wondering how we're gonna get the message out. And like the young guy said at the event, he realized that this affecting his mother, his grandmother, his sister. And this young man was 20 years old and he's thinking about his daughter. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And understand because he's a first time voter. So he telling his friends through the social media because he was FaceTiming it, TikToking it, and all of that. Our thing is this: it's 9 days before the election. We had another brother that was there, and the first time he voted was when Barack Obama ran. So that showed the dynamics and the generation, and everyone is paying attention to what is happening. And that fiasco that Trump did at the
At the garden.
at the
The
garden, to the
garden.
point that they came back and they said they hadn't seen nothing like that since 1939. when it was the Nazis here talking the same thing before World War II. So this is serious. All that I'm saying. Everybody got a right to be about what they want to be about. But we don't have that luxury. Okay? Okay, and I don't waste the time on the 13% that say they may not want to vote for her. I'm focused on the 87%.
Hmm. Who say that they will.
And hey, not only that, I voted early, me and my son and my wife.
Okay. Okay. Well, Gabe, what are you seeing? Because Gabe has been in Pennsylvania. Um, I mean, and quite frankly, all of these campaigns, see, to explain to the audience, Gator Bradley is someone who is of international renown, international renown. So he can get to any elected official, quite frankly, in the country.
That's right.
So talking to you is a little bit unfair because you're not someone who is not well known. You're not someone who is not connected. When you have someone like Gabe Drobny, who is a brilliant young organizer, who is new to this, when he makes recommendations, what do they say? When E.F. Hutton speaks, everyone listens. Well, they listen to you. Sometimes they don't listen to Gabe, right? And so, Gabe, you tell me, what have you seen? Because everybody's turning on, a lot of resources. T.O. Hardeman and Dr. Bradley
Mm-hmm.
have been poured into Georgia, for example. And
Right.
but not. But I mean, will you tell me, Gabe, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? Because it's still tighter than this in a whole lot of places.
Yeah, it's great. It's great meeting you, Gator, and thank you for having me on the show again, Santita. I spent the most time this summer in Pennsylvania, specifically in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, as well as Scranton, and the Harris ticket is down in Pennsylvania, and I've been on 8 campaigns now. It is very rare to catch a break this late in the campaign, and yesterday the Harris campaign caught a break with the rhetoric and the speeches at Madison Square Garden yesterday. Why do I say that? There are 600,000 registered Latino voters in Pennsylvania. It has the highest propensity of Puerto Rican. 50% of that 600,000 are Puerto Rican. You have a chance this week to flip voters based upon that clip alone. And I read it all last night.
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rican voters that were saying, I was going to vote Republican, not anymore. Now you really showed your true colors. So how do you counter that? AOC is an hour and a half away. It doesn't matter. If you don't like her or whatever, she is the biggest surrogate, and she is Puerto Rican. You have the Bronx. You have all of New York. You have Congresswoman Nadia Velasquez. Get them in there. You have Summer Lee. It is time to stop silencing surrogates. Right now, it's about all hands on deck and deliver the state of Pennsylvania and deliver the ticket. They're there. They're waiting. It doesn't matter if they're inexperienced or if they're not. This notion of getting these never Trumpers, we have that block. The Cheney, rolling that out, the Lincoln projects. Now we got to get the voters who we thought that they're going to sit on the couch or they're going to vote third party or no, they're with Trump. No. Yesterday we caught a big break, and it's time to cash it in this week. Call Summer Lee now. Call AOC now. Anybody who wants to be out there, feed them, make them see that they're recognized. It's not too late, and they have to do it right this second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Santita,
yes,
I agree with him 100%, and he's absolutely correct. And Brother T.O. know we deal with, because we go around the country stopping gang violence and all of that. So we may not speak Espanol, but we talk to our Latino brothers, be they 5 point, 6 point, or whatever it is.
sure.
When Trump did what he did, and the number one Puerto Rican star or rapper, or whatever it is, she became that surrogate. You find what I'm saying? And he talking about AOC and all of them. But we are surrogates ourselves and don't need the permission to reach the people that we feel that they're not reaching. And he absolutely correct. If Trump wouldn't have made that statement.
Well, it wasn't him, it was his surrogate.
Yeah, his surrogate. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
surrogate, but he's speaking on behalf of Trump. Okay.
No, no,
Okay.
no, but let me say this because I always parse words, not only because it's my show and it's under my name, but I
Okay.
want, as the facts have been reported, as they have been reported. Typically, when you go to events like that, you know this Gator better than anybody. You know this Tio, you know this Gabe. The speeches are vetted. And this guy's speech was not completely vetted. What he gave to the campaign was not what he said yesterday, according to the campaign. Because I have to tell you, when I saw that, because I watched the whole thing because
Hmm.
I wanted to see, because when they said it was like the Nazi rally, I know that the Nazi rally, the rally at Madison Square Garden in 1939 was something. It was a non-interventionist rally because America, remember, did not want to go into the Second World War. Black folks
Correct.
didn't want to go into the Second World War. So that's actually what the rally was about. I just want to be historically accurate,
But you know,
just for the purposes of this show. That
Hmm.
having been said, when this man went off into the wild blue yonder like that, I said, was he sabotaging the campaign? Because because the audience started booing him. He lost the room on that. Which I thought was interesting. Because to say that about Puerto Ricans in New York City, where I used to live, I was like, who does that? Nobody does it. That's crazy. And not just crazy, it just sounded like sabotage to me. That's just me. I'm not making excuses for anyone. I just said this is, but even that having been said, like you said, Gabe, it's a gift.
Hmm.
Because now the Puerto Rican community rightly is saying, because while the Trump campaign distanced himself from it, they did not condemn it.
Right.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
well, you know,
So,
Santita,
yes.
you know, I'm a risk taker, and I say this boldly because Gator knows me. And Gabe, Santita said, people listen to you. I'm gonna put myself out on the edge here, Santita, right? I believe it would help Mrs. Harris out tremendously. Hear me clearly. If she would talk to President Biden and ask him to pardon Larry Hoover from
Absolutely.
penitentiary. Let me tell you why I'm saying this now, okay?
No, first
80
explain who
million.
Larry Hoover is for people.
No, no, hear me clearly. Why I'm saying it though. 80 million, one third, one fourth of the population is ex-offenders, something like that, right? There was about 80 million voters. If she was a pardon, if President Biden would pardon Larry Hoover, that would give her that edge she needs with some more men votes out there on a
Hmm.
universal level. Nobody, I never said this to nobody else, but on your show, I mentioned it to Congressman Jonathan Jackson the other day. I was with him, all right? But I
Hmm.
have to say this to be on a balance. When you first opened up Santita, you said that the money's not really being spent. Some of that $1 billion is not really being
No,
spent.
I'm saying those are the reports. The
Those are the
report.
reports, right?
Hmm.
So the thing is this here. I don't like to hear that because a lot of times African American people are thought, as like after the fact, so to speak. I don't like that. She's at 80%. She needs 90% to win the election in the black community. Had Biden to pardon Larry Hoover. Trump had a chance to pardon Larry Hoover when Kanye West talked to him when he was the president before. So I'm saying, I'm putting myself out there, Gator. This is what I'm saying.
But
Pardon
who
that
is?
man.
Let people know who Larry Hoover is. Who is he? Because
Well,
that
Larry
is a
Hoover,
hashtag that is trending.
yeah. I will let Gator answer that if you don't mind, out of due
Okay, not
respect.
a problem. Of
Gator,
course.
I turn it over to you and then I'll just add to it. Is that okay with you, bro?
Yeah, I have no problem. First off, Larry Hoover, the people see in the community as a political prisoner.
Hmm.
Larry Hoover don't want to be a part of the equation of an individual using him at
Right.
this point of time because it was the politics, as you know, T,
They got
that
him
got
locked
him
up.
But
locked
no,
up
but no,
like
but
they got him locked
who?
up.
But for
Larry Hoover,
everyone.
Larry Hoover is the former gang leader,
Hmm.
the founder of Gangster Disciples. It went from Gangster Disciples to Growth and Development.
Hmm.
We was instrumental. Brother T.O. was a part of this. When we went around the country, Sister Santia, because your dad had put a call out to stop the violence in the 90s, in 94. Okay? And we all met up in Washington and went around the country before it was the Million Man March. Okay? And the religious and political leaders asked Larry Hoover if he could tell the young adults to pretty much become civically minded instead of criminally in tune. Okay, and for them to get registered to vote, because at the time we was trying to elect Carol Mosley Brown, the first African American woman, to the United States Senate, and they couldn't go across gang lines to vote. Well, as historical as it went, Carol Mosley Brown won because we came together and created 21st Century Vote after we had United in Peace. And then Mayor Daley saw that, hey, wow, these individuals could make the decision who's going to be the next alderman, the state rep, the state senator. And they came in and they locked him up after the drug case came, you know, the RICO case came. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But saying that to say this, we got 9 days. I couldn't see Biden making a move like that because it would give Trump and the MAGA movement to say that he's using, they're already trying to say that they're going at Trump because he weaponized saying Biden don't weaponize the thing to indict Trump. So our move is this. Those of us that know the power of the vote, it ain't so much about Hoover as it is about us. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm a stern believer, because I walk by faith, that anything is possible. If we walk by faith, put in the required work, pray to God through his son, like Mandela came free. Okay. And Mandela's wife was named Wendy. Larry Hoover, wife is named Wendy. That's what I'm going to say on that.
Okay, well, you know what, everybody, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Like the show,
Oh yeah,
like and
for
share
sure.
the show, like and share the show, everybody. I need you to do that so you can help us with our algorithms. Robert, Noemi, sending you so much love. Gregory, Andre, like the show, like and share the show. Tio, you were going to add,
Yeah, I just want to add, you know, during the election with Biden versus Trump, Trump secured like 76 million votes, Biden 81 million, okay? But I'm just putting that out there as a proposition, looking at the ex-offender vote, which is a very rich, deep vote throughout the United States. And I truly believe that it would gather about another 5 to 6 million votes for Mrs. Harris and what she's doing. But I understand what Gator's talking about as well, because politics, especially in the Black community, can kind of backfire on some of our leaders out here. But understand this, Larry, because of Donald Trump, they have the First Step Act. And a lot of people are being freed anyway because of the First Step Act. So Donald Trump and company cannot come at Biden too hard on that, because he the one put the First Step Act in place. And a lot of other
No. All he did was sign the law. They had 80 votes in the Senate. It was going to become law whether he signed or not. So Trump made the same move that he made when he signed the bill, and so he can have his name on the checks when people got the stimulus checks.
But you know what, I think also because of his, to be fair, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was involved, his family was involved in a very nasty case with Chris Christie, who was not yet governor. Chris Christie had been after Jared Kushner's father for quite some time, and his family, who are very, 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 very wealthy family. And he caught Jared Kushner's uncle, his father's sister's husband, in an adulterous act, taped it, and sent the film to a family dinner. So they opened the door. And so they're feeling some kind of way about being set up by the feds, to be fair. I mean, you know, what I try to do is research this stuff, Dr. Bradley, and put everything out there, because when I see Black people because I've had any number of people on my show who have given President Trump a bear hug because of that, knowing that background, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, because I know how passionate Jared Kushner is about that issue. But I hear you. They had the 80 votes, and so it was going to go through. But it was something that Trump had the political sense to lift up, because it helped him with the section of the Black community.
Santita. And then also I'm saying it because of this as well. Mrs. Harris has allegedly, in some of the perceptions about her time as Attorney General in the state of California when it comes to African American men, this would be a redemption for her, so to speak, in the field of restorative justice. I'm not asking them to pardon Larry Hoover because of his gang, nothing. What I'm saying, Larry is what you call the folk legend across the United States and worldwide. And Larry Hoover's an older guy now in his 70s, and if he's released, he's going to work with the peace movement or just spend more time with his family, whatever the case may be. So I'm not saying free him because of no gang anything. What I'm saying, this young man should be, hold on for a minute. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Larry, if they give him a pardon, it would be very instrumental for her to kind of redeem her career with black men and for ex-offenders nationwide. That's why I'm proposing Larry Hoover be freed. That's all part.
And you know, that sounds good. Then let us pray that he be free. Whoever gonna become the president, let us pray that they free him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I got it.
well, Gator, given your experience, what do you think needs to be done? You know, because much has been made of black men not supporting Kamala, which is not true. The two biggest
Not true.
voting blocks of Democratic voters are black women, number one, black men, number two. I don't know why all these other people don't go to the white community and talk to them.
Right. I'm with you on that, and I agree with you on that. I agree 100%. And they trying to give the schism, if that's such a word, like if she don't win, it's because of the black men. And that ain't it.
And that's
Okay.
not true.
If them women that, I'll put it this way, when those 44,000 women did that Zoom thing, and then that 168,000 women did they Zoom thing, and those white women said they apologized because they felt responsible for letting Trump beat Hillary. You follow what I'm saying? Because they didn't think that their rights would get taken.
Well,
So
also
they got took.
the majority of them voted for him. The majority of
Right,
white women and the majority of white men
right,
voted for Trump. 2/3 of his voters made $50,000 a year or more. This
right,
representation of him getting poor white people and a sliver of white people is not true.
right,
The Democrats get a rainbow. That is not what Trump got.
right,
Trump got the majority of the white vote.
Right.
right. But what we're witnessing now,
Hmm.
when I see the young ladies that I saw at the DNC convention, and you know how we sometimes tell the young adults, get out of grown folks' business. Well, I found myself ear hustling and listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about, we didn't get a chance to enjoy the rights that we didn't know that we had
Mm-hmm.
until they took the rights, and he bragged about it.
Mm-hmm.
See, he bragged about it, and he think that Generation Z and Generation A, B, or whatever it is, ain't paying attention to their rights. You follow what I'm saying? So it ain't just on the 13% black men. They got those that gonna do what they want to do, and they got a right to do what they want to do, however way they feel. You follow what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
don't put it on the black men.
Yeah.
And you know, I would ask that 13% or even 20. What is it that President Trump gives you that you are not finding over here? I
A
mean, you know,
check.
but not
Hey,
just a
hey,
check.
hey, hey,
Well,
hey,
he
hey,
does
hey,
that.
hey, Santita.
Uh-huh.
That man is dropping money in the black community like it ain't nobody business.
But
He's dropping
you
the
and I
money in the
both
black
know
community. Yes, he is. He's dropping the money.
Gator, that's what they always do.
Yeah, but hey, Santilla, not like this.
Yeah, no,
The
I got you.
reason I'm saying this, Santilla, it's to the point that some of the brothers that's taking that money
Mm-hmm.
remind me of the people that was fighting the coke with Jim Jones. It's to the point I feel around them brothers that I didn't grew up with, that's going with that MAGA piece, to the point I wouldn't leave my drink on the bar next to them. Okay, they got me and others feeling to the point, okay, let's stop Gator. Then they'll come and drop something next to me. That's how serious it is out here in these streets
Mm-hmm.
with that MAGA money.
Wow. Well, I tell you this much,
I'm just saying,
everybody.
historically, Republicans have had a reputation
Yeah.
for seeding different communities with money, and Democrats have a reputation for not doing it. The first time Black vendors and Black contractors got money and got contracts in a substantial way was when Reverend Jackson was running, because he
Right.
made that part of his platform, because he said, we're the backbone of the party, didn't realize this was a private corporation, and that there is the business of politics, that when you make keychains, you got millionaires who make the keychains and the t-shirts. Pass some of these businesses. We have Black folks who do this. Pass some of the businesses way. And to now that we're running the party, for us not to have that, Gator is like, that's insane. Gator
Right.
and Gabe.
Hey.
Well, you know, Trump is already cutting into Mrs. Harris' vote count in a lot of different areas. Let's be honest about it. And hypothetically speaking, if Trump was to vow, I'm just putting it out there, to pardon Larry Hoover, if he becomes president, he would gain another 5-6 million votes. He would cut into her base, and that's
Hey.
that's what we're doing. That's no
Hey,
one minute.
Tio,
Gator,
if
let
Trump
me
was
just
to
finish.
say he was going to do that, ain't nobody going to
No,
believe him.
No,
but I
Because
just-
if he didn't do it when Kanye West came to him and had the money,
my point, bro.
what makes you think he'll do it now?
Well,
No, I'm not saying
Because
that.
he got a mug shot?
Well,
No.
Tio,
I
and
just
then
finish
you
my
Gabe.
point.
Okay.
I'm taking the thing with Larry on the intellectual level here, because Larry has served a long time in prison, almost 50-something years. I'm talking about restorative justice at its finest. I'm not saying just have, free him just to free him on a political basis. So he's already up for the First Step Act. So I don't want to get into all that back and forth. But I'm just saying, politically speaking, I think it would be a good career move, because we're down here now. Tuesday's what, about a week and a day ahead, like away. And so it might be a good maneuver for either one of the candidates. I just want to be balanced about it, all right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying, because Larry Hoover, all these young people love him, man. They love him for whatever reason. People love Larry Hoover, and he's a man's man when it comes to the Black, I'm talking about Black men. He's the man's man. And Gabe, if you push this up the ladder and they go for it, make sure you mention my name. I'm just messing with Santita. But the thing is this here, now on the ground level, yeah, I'm hearing that a lot of people are going to vote for Santita without a doubt. She has to strengthen
not for
herself.
Santita, for somebody else.
No, my fault. I'm sitting here talking. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Santita. I got mesmerized looking at you for a minute. But look here. So check it out. Okay, on the ground level, the state of Illinois, they're gonna go with Harris and Waltz. You know that, right? And then now when it comes to the state of Michigan, it comes to Pennsylvania, there's some weaknesses there. And that's why something like this, I think, would help out to a degree, because I know even for myself, when you talk about the violence prevention community, you talk about the recovering community, which I come from, you talk about the network that's in my own base itself, it can be very helpful for her in her campaign efforts, because I know a lot of people. I'm not going to say who I plan to vote for, Santita, but I'll say this much. I'm not going to be a Black man that's going to stand in the way of a woman becoming the president of the United States.
Okay.
I'll put that there. All right. I'll say it and I stand on that. But when you ask, what are we hearing? And going back to what you said initially, what the reports are saying, she needs to stop looking at the Black community afterwards. Put some money out there. If you raise $1 billion, all right, make sure a lot of that money is being spent in the African-American community without no second guessing about it.
I'm only responding to what Derek Johnson, Attorney Derek Johnson, who's the president of the NAACP,
right.
And for Derek Johnson to push back, that's a whole lot, because the NAACP is a very conservative organization, and quite frankly, we also appreciate that Vice President Harris, literally, she got an opportunity that was it was a hot potato that was thrown in her lap, and she had to make it, and she had to figure out, okay, is it gonna be a baked potato? Is it gonna be mashed? What am I gonna do? I gotta get all these, I gotta work this out. She had to come up with this thing on the fly. I have much respect for her. But let me go to Gabe, because Gabe has listened to a lot.
Oh yeah.
And he's also seen a lot. And there's some things that, I mean, I think she's I want to point out where some of the vulnerabilities are, Gator Bradley, so that we can, it's just like my father said, it's just like when you're cooking meat. If you don't like things, if you don't like rare meat, you poke it where it's bleeding, you poke it so you can cook it so that it can be cooked all the way through, right? And that's all that we're looking at right now. Gabe, what are you seeing, and what are you hearing? Because these are the Black men who we're not hearing enough from them on TV, and on the radio, quite frankly.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about Gator Bradley, Dr. Bradley. I don't want to talk about T.O. Hardeman. And I want you to listen to him on WVON at 6 a.m. every Sunday morning. I want to talk to them, which is what you're hearing.
I actually think this is part of the problem. I think that Gator and T.O. should be, there's a massive need in space for these types of conversations. I really appreciated that conversation. I know of Larry Hoover, but I'm, kind of young to really. I know Fred Hampton pretty well. My dad always speaks of Fred Hampton. I grew up next to Hillside, so I've been to his house. So this is the engagement we need, because people my age actually want to hear these things, right? And that's kind of what you're seeing out there in terms of official surrogates. Can't say it enough. In Pennsylvania, you have so many. It's very rare to catch a break this late in the campaign. I've only been in it 3 years, but I know enough to know I've been a campaign manager. It's very, very rare. The Harris campaign is very, very lucky right now to catch a break this late. You have 330,000 Puerto Rican registered voters in Pennsylvania. You're an hour and a half away from New York City's border. Allentown, Pennsylvania is an hour and a half from the Bronx. That is not a far drive. You need to tap into all those resources, whether they're progressive and if it's a moderate district, it doesn't matter. This notion of the never Trumpers is the only win path might cost us the election. So right now in this last week, you have to have all hands on deck. Everyone is invited to the table. Everybody has a place. We're going to take those meetings with the Arab Americans, even if they are upset in Michigan. We're going to at least try to engage. We're going to try. This is the opportunity to build that rainbow push that your father instilled. You really have a window right now to build with the Haitian community. They're hurting in Florida. They're hurting. You can actually win that Florida Senate seat right now. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Florida, proximity-wise. You have Venezuelans that are offended because they always say that they're against socialism, right? That's why they're with Trump. But now your community they're not being accepted. So you could capitalize on that. You really can. And you have that chance to build a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-age group demographic that we talked about in this past hour. They have a window to do it right now, even if it is only 8 days away. You can capitalize on it. You can get those voters that weren't going to. 54% of Latinos vote in presidential elections on average. And with, once again, 330,000 Puerto Rican registered voters in 2020, Biden won the state of Pennsylvania by merely 80,000 votes. You should be able to make that up with that margin right there this week. But you need people on the ground. It's not going to be digital ads. It's not going to be flyers. It's not going to be mail. It's not going to be commercials. Pay surrogates. Pay local leaders. They should not have to be college educated or experienced. They should just, if their heart is in it, they should be out there. Feed them. You're recognized. We acknowledge you. We appreciate you. And this is an intersection with the hurt. And so this notion that the Black community and the Black vote, forget that. I call on every single Latino leader to get out there. You should be calling Cesar Chavez's granddaughter, Julia Chavez Rodriguez, who was demoted and sent to Arizona. Call her right now and send her up to Pennsylvania right now. Now. She should be getting a call this second. She should have gotten a call last night. The personalities need to be put aside. If you really want to win this campaign, you can have the bickering and internal disagreements of who's going to get what job, what position after you win. But you can't do any of that if you don't win. You can't write policy if you don't win. You can't appoint cabinets if you don't win. And that's what sometimes pundits forget about campaigns. You have to win first before you can do any of that.
Yeah.
And that's where I leave. That's where I leave it. So this, like you said, the conversation that T.O. and Gator had, they need to be at the table. You need to have everyone at the table because everybody has value. If they're willing to be out there and take time is the most precious thing in life. We all know that. And I'm 25, and even I know that. Time and labor are the most precious things in life. If people are willing to take time and labor to go out for their heart and for hope and for their soul, they should be invited because there's a place for them somewhere.
Yeah. And that is something that we have seen, that when you bring everybody to the table, Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley, when you bring everybody to the table, T.O. Hardeman, Gabe Drobny, you're seeing it. I mean, because when you're up in Philly, many people live in Philly and work in New York.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just, I mean, when you're in that part of the country, you don't fly, you take the train from DC to Philly, even and New York. And I mean, you certainly do that because it's a plane ticket's a waste because you ride from the middle of the city in DC to the middle of the city in Manhattan. It's just so easy. And so now is not the time for you to push back on AOC. You need her.
Right.
Now you need Summer Lee. You need everybody who can see, touch, feel somebody. That's what you need.
Yeah,
And all we're doing is trying to put these things out there,
that's
uh,
it.
so that just as recommendations, um, because we're seeing some things that are missed. And Gator, it's only because when we were on the radio yesterday, that's what we were hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We had people who were calling in. So I said, oh, wait a minute. Let me lead the show with this today because this is what I'm hearing from folks. And you are on the ground, Gator. I mean, please,
Right.
both of my brothers have run and been in Congress. Reverend has run for president, my father.
Right.
When you hear something in the streets, you'll show up at our house.
Right.
You have done that. I've seen
Right.
you
You're
do it.
right. And one of the things, and I want to say this publicly. I am a child of push, and that's why I learned how to politically shove. You know what I mean? And we all have to accept our responsibilities. T.O. No, we the new dinosaurs in the game now.
Mm.
Okay, so it's our shoulders that they're standing on. Okay, and one of the things that I love about my brother T.O., we work together to help eradicate senseless violence in our town, regardless how we feel about the time that the sun go up or the sun go down. You follow what I'm saying? Okay, I wouldn't dare say that what he's saying is not tantamount to our responsibility to better our community, and especially letting everybody know it's time out for us as a people to be taken for granted. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So with that being said, like at the DNC, one of the most important things that Michelle Obama said when she spoke, I thought she was gonna say, when they go low, we go high. She said, no, do something. So that something is tell your neighbor how you feel. Listen to your neighbor how he feel. You follow what I'm saying? And he made, like, I ran into some brothers that was saying, hey, I'm with Trump, and then I showed them, okay, you got a right to be who you want to be. Let's put something up on the line. Let's do the good things about Kamala and the good things about Trump
But
and the
wait a minute,
bad
stop,
things
Gator.
about.
Stop right there. But because they know you, they trust you, and they've seen you, they could have that conversation with you. That's all we're saying.
Oh,
They need
I'm
to
with that.
they
But
they need to do more of that. There are
they
not that
do.
many
But
gators out here. I'm saying you're right. Everybody should do that, but everybody doesn't even think that they're able to do that. You're the one who tells these young folks who have been rejected. You're the one who tells them, no, do something. And they'll listen to you.
right. But you know what I do?
Mm,
I let them know, hey, I come from a culture, and T.O. do too, where the name of the game is look, listen, and learn. And before we interject our thought, we ask for 1,000 pardons to let them know we're listening to you because we're learning from you. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And one thing I know, them sisters is talking in the nail shop, them brothers is talking in the barber shop. Them people are talking at the bars, they talking at the football game. They having these conversations on the street. And like you said, Santia, sometimes they may not be able to get in on WON to voice their concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They may not get in on the show like what you have allowed me, Gabe, and Tio to be on your international show. You follow what I'm saying? And if this show is recorded, send us all the links so we can put it out through our social media people
We're gonna
for
give it.
them to see that we hear y'all concerns.
We're gonna,
Yeah,
we're gonna do that because we're just saying, people. I know people need to see you, and they need to see Tio.
Ain't no question.
And that's all that I'm saying. And I'm not tearing anyone down. I'm trying to build them up.
Well,
Because I know particularly given what was said at the Madison Square Garden about the Puerto Ricans, and quite frankly, the Kamala Harris was put in a hole with those remarks that President Obama made, and
right.
Right.
she's still trying to dig her way up out of
That's
that.
that's it. That's correct. And
Yeah.
Santita. Now another strategy for Gabe and everybody. I'm just putting it out there. Now in Philadelphia, the Harris campaign should reach out to Kevin Hart. I don't know if they reached out to him already or not. And Will Smith, and get on the trains with those two guys in Philadelphia. Reach
Mhm.
out to the Muslim community, the Black Muslim community in Philadelphia. I had some contacts, my brother Bilal and them up in Philadelphia. And then reach out, bring Dr. J, Julius Erving out the game. I'm
Mhm.
talking about the three cross generations. You get Dr. J for the older generation, Will Smith middle age, then you get Kevin Hart for the younger generation of Black men up in Philadelphia and the Black community overall, right? That's just something I want to put out there that I think will be helpful for her in Philadelphia. Okay. And I would
ATL,
have to think about
I'm
Michigan a
glad
little
you
bit more.
mentioned that because she has. Because I
Okay.
talked with a lot of the brothers that's from the nation,
Mhm.
Yes.
okay, that we all came together during the 90s for the Million Man March. So she's reaching out to everybody. That
Okay.
Okay.
she got
Well,
to.
that's good. And then the Al Islam brothers, I'm talking about as well. You know, the nation and brothers that practice, Islam overall. You know, universal. So,
Mhm.
we're on the same. Everybody's on the same page. Those are just some thoughts. If she's kind of weak in Philadelphia, I think that would help her out. I have a lot of contacts in Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and Philadelphia. So you know how it is, man. Let's do the best we can do.
Well,
Kind of support the process.
but given that Gabe was there,
Yes.
and Gabe 10 toes down wants her to win,
Okay.
and when he says, "Hey, these are the points of vulnerability," I'm going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not someone who's saying, "Oh, no, 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 we don't want Wallace, Gator, Bradley because we don't want Tia." No, 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 no. He's like, "No, no, 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 no. These are the people we need because we all know the $1 million consultants, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and we know they don't deliver not narrow vote.
Not now
Do
vote.
That's right.
I didn't say not one. I said not narrow vote. Thank you,
Yes,
Mama.
indeed.
My great
Yeah.
grandmama. I'm channeling her right now. They don't
Right.
deliver anything but
Yeah.
contempt for you. But
Mm-hmm.
contempt for you, but a
Mhm.
block for you, Gabe. I've been in the room. I've seen them do it because
Mm-hmm.
they know everything. They're so smart. They're as dumb as a box of rocks
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because they don't know the people. You look at the pundits on TV; they get everything wrong. I'm
You
like,
sure
where do you
do.
find? I'm a pundit on TV. I'm like, where did you get this from? Where did you get this information
Plus,
from? Who are you talking to? You're not talking to it. I don't know who you're talking to because I see
Mm-hmm.
plus
people
it's
every day, and this is not what I'm hearing.
yeah. It's a
So
little
everybody,
collateral damage.
I've got
Also,
about six
Santita.
minutes left, so I want to give a couple of minutes to each of you. That's right,
Yeah.
Robert. I said not nary nothing.
I'll say this quickly, Santita. There's a little collateral damage the Democrats are experiencing right now in the Black community because a lot of African American people believe Democrats have not delivered for African American people overall. It might be true, it may be false. That's a perception out there, all right? When we look at the conditions of our community. And so Mrs. Harris has to kind of deal with that as well. It has nothing to do with her per se, but those are perceptions. She has to straighten. The Democrats need to do a better job of working a little harder in the Black community as elections, way before elections come up. So that's all I'm going to say in closing, as far as my comments. But I stand on what I said about that pardon. I just want to put that out there. Right.
Hey,
One
hey, brother,
more
I'm glad you put it
time.
out there instead of me.
Let me put it out. That's right. That's right. Gator. Yes, sir.
Hashtag free Larry Hoover. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
free
tell
my
you.
brother. Free the brother.
Hashtag free Larry Hoover. Ain't no
That's
doubt
right.
about it.
Yes, yes.
And I'm
Dr.
speaking.
Wallace, Gator Bradley, what do you want us to know?
I want to say this. I voted early. I know
Why?
it ain't no joke. I saw the plan in 2020.
Okay.
And this is the manifestation of it. And we all human beings, we all make mistakes, including Trump. We all make mistakes. Okay.
Exactly.
And just like Gabe said, whoever said what they said, we all heard, and it was disrespectful. They went to showing pictures where he was throwing paper towels during the hurricane. I want to
Mhm.
say this to us as a people, to your viewing audience, because I'm for Vice President Kamala, because spiritually, I feel it's time for her to get it, because ain't nowhere in the world what she did within 90 days. I've never seen it done and the people are looking for her to be and make sure that a guy that is vice president nominee called him America's Hitler. They don't want him in the White House.
All right. Gabe Drobny, your thoughts? And in the next hour, everybody, we're going to be talking about some key races. Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley, we could get Colin Allred to be the senator out of Texas.
Ain't no question.
Could happen. Nebraska, I mean, everybody keeps looking at Georgia and other states, but we're missing these other places. And because what's happening with Colin Allred is that the Democrats have poured into him late. Sound familiar? Like they did with Charles Booker. It's like, this is a sitting member of Congress. I mean, what else do I need to be for you? Gabe Drobny, your thoughts before we go.
You know, this conversation's been great, and it's a testament to what needs to happen. Like I said earlier, T.O. and Gator, everyone has value. And if they have the passion and they want to get out there and they want to talk to their community, whoever they want to talk to or talk to everybody, it's not a juncture of age. It's not a juncture of your educational background. If you are willing to take the time and labor to go talk to the community and believe what in your heart is right, you need to have a spot at the table. And I just hope in these last 8 days, whoever is making that decision reaches out to everybody who's willing to be out there, because everyone deserves to be out there. They really do. And people want to be sold. People want to be given hope. They want to be given a chance, because good ideas come from everywhere. It doesn't just come from pundits. It doesn't just come from educated folks or experienced folks. A good idea can come from anywhere. And I really hope the Harris campaign capitalizes. And I'll leave it with this from a data standpoint: 330,000 Puerto Rican voters in Pennsylvania. We had 82,000 in 2020 with Biden. If you can't capitalize on that, I'm very disappointed.
Hey, Gabe, it just came across the wire that a whole bunch of Puerto Rican stars behind that statement is pushing her. They hearing what you're saying, man, or they feeling with your passion.
Yeah, I mean, and we all feel it. It's like you said, a gift this late in the campaign.
It's a gift.
When this happens,
it's a gift.
Oh
It's
my
very,
gosh.
very rare. It's very rare.
When I saw this guy talking, I said, oh, wow, you just delivered the Latino vote to Kamala Harris. I hope, and I didn't even say I hope, I was like, yay. But now now almost 24 hours later, I'm like, well, I hope y'all take this gift. It's a gift, but more than that, I hope they back it up with policy when she wins. Because everybody needs to win here. Everybody needs to win. America is too rich.
Right.
Not to bless everybody and not to make everybody whole.
All right.
Not that everybody needs to be whole. But everybody. I love you, Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley.
Love you too.
I love you. And with he is one of the 10 best dressed men in America.
Oh, yeah.
You just like them knickerbockers.
You're the only man in the world today who can wear knickerbockers and not be laughed out the room. People go, that's Gator. That's his style. That's right. I don't want him to inspire Congressman Jonathan Jackson to do that. Hush, Gator. There. Leave my brother alone, because he's one step behind you. He'll go. Nuh-uh. Be quiet, Gator. Stop. Don't you do that to him. No. I'm gonna get my mother on you. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look at me. What did I tell you? Boom. I love it. T.O. Hardeman on WBON at 6 a.m. every Sunday. You've got to check him out. Give him your support and tell more and more people about the show. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you links to this show.
You got it.
Gator, pass it out. T.O.
You will. We will.
Pass it out, Gabe. But
we're going to share it everywhere.
Hey, and thank you for this platform that you have allowed us. You have created the table.
Well, look, I'm following you. Sounding the alarm all over the place. Now we just have a mic. How about that?
Right, I got you.
That's
love
right.
You.
I love you. I love you, Wallace Gator Bradley. What an inspiration he is. As are you, T.O. Hardeman. As are you, young Gator Drobny. All right, everybody.
All right.
Next hour.
All right.
Well, next day. Next day, everybody.
Yeah, next day. All right.
We're talking about these key races. They will let you know, T.O. Hardeman and Gabe Drobny, that every vote counts.
Okay.
Go to
Thank you.
vote.org, everybody. Go to vote.org. Find out where you can go vote. Find out if you're still on the voter rolls. Even if you're not if you're in a same day on-site voter registration state, that's great. But even if you're not, you need to get registered anyway, because I promise you, I think some of these races are going to be tighter than this. I can smell some runoffs. And if you're
Okay.
registered to vote, you can participate. So get in there, everybody. I love you. Come on, everybody. Click on over to the second hour. So let's talk about some of these races that we need to be looking at. They're
Okay.
real, everybody. Sending you much love to you, Hardiman.
Peace. Peace, Gabe and Santita. All righty. I got you. Peace. All right.
I love you. All right. We'll see you in a minute.